Yeah, this is the product of single motherhood, right? This is what single motherhood looks like. A group of 3 little kids were caught shoplifting and were locked inside the store. All right, some gremlins, monsters. Let me go ahead and play this, and we'll grab a few scriptures, and that'll be that. All right. But we have a degenerate nation of people, right? And that's why the Lord is only dealing with the elect of the nation of Israel, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. But majority of our people are degenerate. All right, look at these little gremlins, man. Hold on. Bear with me 1 second.
You got like 10 seconds to open up this door. I swear to God, I'm gonna break this door. I'm cold. 10. Open this fucking door. Oh, come on, mom. Come on, mom. Bitch, I been knew how to count, ho. Show 4 out of that. Dad do that.
You can open the door. Open the door.
Bitch, get this from my mouth. I'm gonna open up this door because I'm not playing. All I fucking know is y'all better open it. I'm not playing.
You know how to count. You have hands. Open the door.
I open up this door before we break this bitch.
Break it. Go ahead.
I'm finna break something up in this bitch. On God, I'm finna. You guys must be dumb. I would like that fight with y'all. Do not play with me.
You
Do
can
not.
like that, but you can't open the door.
Do not play with me. Open this door, I'll trash it.
You can open it.
I will trash this on.
I'm closed. All right, we're sorry.
Open this door. Open it. Dad, do that.
Count. You
Open.
Yeah, and you clearly see the spirit of the nigger woman, man, the so-called black woman. All right, and this is the product of single motherhood. All right, that the average so-called black woman is a single mother. You know, got 3 different jits from 3 different baby daddies. You know, and the kids are being raised without a father. And you see, especially this boy right here in the green robe, he got the spirit of the nigger woman, right? Even look effeminate already at a young age, and that's why a lot of these men grow up to be moes, you know, because they don't have a father in their life. All right, and it goes back to Esau, Edom, okay, with women's liberation, equal rights, which was all part of Esau's plan to destroy the household. All right, and now Esau ultimately is going to come down upon you so-called black women as well. All right, all them benefits that you had is getting taken away. All right, the serpent, all right, is about to strike you as well. So this, the so-called black woman has abandoned the so-called black man. Same thing with the Latino woman. Latino women, Native American women have abandoned the Israelite man, and they're raising these children, as monsters, literally. All right. A child needs a mother and a father in their life, especially a father. All right. But real quick, this is Jeremiah 2:21. It says, Yet I have planted thee a noble vine, wholly a right seed. How then art thou turned into the degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me? Yeah, so our people have become a degenerate plant. All right, the Most High created us to be holy and separate, righteous, set us apart, gave us laws, statutes, and commandments. And our people completely forsook Yahweh Shem Shai. Even now, when the prophets are on the scene, we have the truth. We're out there prophesying and it's to a bunch of degenerates, and that's why there's a 2/3. That's why most of our people are going to, they're going to die here. all right, and they sins. Okay. So as we get closer to the end, we're going to see more degenerate activity. All right. The scriptures say to train up a child in the way he should go. All right. Let's grab that real quick. Proverbs 22:6, which the father is supposed to be the head of the house, you know, and the father is supposed to set his house in order. But see, these women, they don't want to be in order. That's one thing. A woman's kryptonite is order and accountability, you know. So what we see is these women, they'll ride the carousel, hop from man to man, you know, get pregnant by 3-4 different guys, and then, you know, put the man on child support, you know, because he wants order. Most of the time, you know, men just want peace. Now, you do have some degenerate, low-life men in this society as well, all right? But most of the time, men just want peace and order, you know, which the woman hates. The woman hates taking orders from a man. So a lot of times, you know, she puts the man on child support, you know, plays victim, you know, and she's raising these monsters, you know, gremlins, straight up gremlins, man. All right. These 3 little gremlins, which as I'm watching this video, right, I was watching this video and I was like, you know what? And this is just my take on it. I believe that these 3 little boys, they either got the same mother or they got different mothers, and they moms is probably the ones who sent them on this mission, you know. The so-called black woman, man, the gremlin. That's my take on it. That's what I believe. I believe the nigga woman done sent these monsters into the store and just told them, yeah, go steal, you know, fill the bags up and just walk out. You know, y'all are little kids. They're not going to do nothing to you or whatever, you know. That's just my take on it, because, you know, a little kid, you know, they ain't doing shit like this. They you know, most of the time they taking orders, you know. Little children are like sponges. So I wouldn't be surprised a degenerate mother done stay ass in there. But that's why Eve is through. The so-called black woman, the least dateable woman, the most through woman on the face of the earth. Let's watch this again. Some degenerate activity, man.
You got like 10 seconds to open up this door. I swear to God, I'm gonna break this door.
I'm cold.
10. Open this fucking door. I'll call my mom. Call my mom. Bitch, I been knew how to count, ho. Choke 4 out of there. Dad do that.
You can open the door.
Bitch, my mom say I'm gonna open up this door because I'm not playing. All I fucking know is y'all better open it. I'm not playing.
You know how to count. You have hands. Open the door.
I'll open up this door before we break this bitch.
Break it. Go ahead.
I'm finna break some up in this bitch. Oh God, you all look dumb. I would like that fight with you. Do not play with me. Do not like that, but you can't open the door. Do not play with me. Open the door,
Right, so kids already growing up to be effeminate and just monsters. All right, and this is why the father's supposed to be in the house to establish discipline, to chasten their children, you know, or else they go out into the world and become demons, complete demons, and ultimately get put to death. Right? That's why you got all these YNs. You got a bunch of, harlots, women that don't got fathers in their lives, men don't got fathers in their life, and they grow up degenerate. Right? This is Proverbs 22:6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Yeah, so you're supposed to, if you have children, you're supposed to train them up in the truth, ultimately. Okay? Train them up in the way he should go, to serving Yahweh Bashmi Yahushai, you know, teaching them right from wrong, because in this world, you know, good is promoted as evil and evil is promoted as good. So you have to really teach your children, you know, the right way, You know, especially with this school system that's completely defiled, Esau being empowered, you know, the earth being given into the hand of the wicked, you know. So, but with this right here, what you see, this is the product of the single so-called black woman, all right? Single motherhood. This is what it gets you. A bunch of gremlins, all right? Demons. So I'll be surprised if these demons live to see, you know, 14, 15 years old, you know. Let me grab this real quick. This is yeah, because you're supposed to ultimately chasten your sons, especially your sons, you know, as they grow up. You're supposed to really get on them, come down on them with discipline, you know, teach them structure, order, respect, you know, honor your mother and the father. Teach them the laws ultimately. All right, which this so-called black woman ain't doing that. All right, she, you know, she teaching her sons how to be, you know, effeminate, you know, how to serve the woman. That's what the so-called black woman is teaching her sons, you know, how to serve the woman, when that's not how it's supposed to be. The woman is supposed to serve the man. All right, and the man is supposed to serve Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. But this is Sirach 30:1. It says, "He that loveth his son causeth him oft to feel the rod, that he may have joy of him in the end." Yeah, so as your son grows, especially if you have sons, you know, you're supposed to chasten your sons. You know, chasten your son, get on him, train him up the way he should go. You know, pretty much get them while they're young, because when they're young, they're like sponges, all right? And they're easy to be taught. They're humble. Children are very humble, very easily to be taught. So in a young age, you're supposed to, you know, you know, your son goes off. Ain't nothing wrong with disciplining your son. In this society, obviously, you got to watch what you do. But you're supposed to discipline your children, man. All right? It says, "He that loveth his son causes him oft to feel the rod," meaning you going to get on your son. You're going to, you know, bring that belt out. It says that he may have joy of him in the end. Yeah, because in the end, as he grows up with, you know, a moral compass. You know, a moral compass. Knowing right from wrong, having discipline, order, you know, not, you know, rash in the mouth, having a sense of respect, which in this world is not promoted, especially if you're being raised by the single mother, man. You know, but especially by Eve, the so-called black woman, man. Your shit. Which a lot of brothers were raised by the so-called black woman, and you know, black woman or the Latino woman are raised by their mothers, which we give praise to Yahweh Shmi Yahweh Shai for, you know, showing us the light at the end of the day, you know. But it says, verse 2, it says, "He that chasteneth his son shall have joy in him, and shall rejoice of him among his acquaintance." Yeah, so you're supposed to chasten your sons, man. Now, if the father was in the house, most of the time, if the father found out you know, your son was doing this, you gonna, hey, bro, you gonna get chastened, all right? Hey, man. And you do it out of love, because you don't want your son to end up in prison or in jail in this society. Ultimately, you don't want your son to be put to death. You know the judgments of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right? So you're supposed to, and that's another thing you're supposed to instill in your sons, is the fear of the Lord. Okay? To fear. All right? Your sons, you're supposed to, hey, you gonna fear. All right? Sirach 30:3, it says, "He that teaches his son grieveth the enemy, and before his friends he shall rejoice of him." Right? Because we raising our sons up in the order of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. The enemy hates to see that, you know, the Israelite man in order. Okay, it says, "Though his father died, yet he is as though he were not dead." Right? Because your son is gonna follow after your footsteps if you raise him in the right way, you know, most of the time. You know, you raise them the right way, especially in this truth, which, you know, we hope we don't got to be here for too much longer anyways. We trying to get the hell up out of here. But you chasten your son to serve the Most High, to fear the Lord, ultimately your son is going to follow after your footsteps. All right. It says, though his father died, yet he is as though he were not dead, for he hath left one behind him that is like himself. Yeah, so you're supposed to raise your son up a certain way. Okay? Okay? This is verse 13. Sirach 30:11. Give him no liberty in his youth, and wink not at his follies. Yeah, so ultimately, if my son was out here doing some shit, hey, there's gonna be a harsh, a punishment behind this. No liberty in his youth. It says, bow down his neck while he is young, and beat him on the sides while he is a child, lest he wax stubborn and be disobedient unto thee, and so bring sorrow to thine heart. Yeah, so you're supposed to really chasten your sons, man. All right? And like I said, in this society, Esau, is a total demon. He don't want you to discipline your children, but you got to, all right, in a certain level. Okay, bow down his neck while he is young, and beat him on the sides while he is a child, lest he wax stubborn, right? Because if you don't, your son gonna grow up being stubborn, disrespectful, disobedient, all right, and it's gonna bring sorrow. It says, chastise thy son and hold him to labor, lest his lewd behavior be an offense unto thee. Yeah, because ultimately, especially men tend to get lazy, and that's why my son, my father always used to have me doing shit around the house. I used to hate it, but growing up you realize why, taking out the trash, mowing the lawn, doing all that, because ultimately it establishes discipline. Okay, keep your sons busy. All right. So yeah, this is just some degenerate nigga woman activity, low life shit. All right, and this is why 2/3 of our people, they're gonna be put to death, man. All right, so hey, call Yabashmi Oshai. Till next time, shalom.